Welcome, weary travellers! You have stumbled across the beginner's guide to Mirthwood, which you'll need to begin your new life successfully. Are you ready to look inside? You have arrived in the Freelands with nothing but the clothes on your back and the food in your inventory. And after your exhausting day travelling, you need to find some tools in order to get started. Run along the eastern road of your farm to a broken cart where you'll find a box full of copper tools to loot. Following the starting quest will also take you there too, but you want to find it as soon as possible. You may be tempted to chop all of your trees down on your farm, but it's very important to leave the tree stumps for much faster regrowth, otherwise you will be struggling for wood later on. You can also cycle through your tools by using the radial menu or by scrolling the mouse wheel. Now it's time to embark on your first trip into town. Follow the road to the south of your farm to find the village of Brightoak, collecting as many herbs and mushrooms as possible on the way. These regrow quite quickly, so can be a good initial source of income, particularly if you chose the herbalist profession because you'll have a chance at gathering extra. You'll find a book sitting on the table which has some valuable information about where to find certain resources, and you can refer back to it at any time by opening your journal and selecting books. On the south side of Brightoak is the blacksmith's workshop, which you'll frequently visit in the future. Talk to the blacksmith and pick up the quest for the hammer, and he'll give you a starter bow which will come in handy for a lot of things. You can find the blacksmith's hammer in a tree just to the west and need to use your bow to shoot it down, collect it, and then return it to the blacksmith. On the northern side of Brightoak is a combat training area with a rusty iron sword lying on the ground, which is a slight upgrade from your current copper one. Head to the northeast of Brightoak to Northdale Farm to sell your rusty copper sword and any forageables that you gathered for some starting coin. Potatoes and peas are crops that can be harvested endlessly throughout spring and will provide a steady income, so I'd recommend buying all 10 seeds for each. But if you can't afford both, then go for the potatoes because they sell for a little bit more. The farm also sells a pokey fishing rod, which is the first one you can obtain, so pick this up if you can afford it. Around the world, you'll see ripples on the surface of bodies of water that you can fish in. To catch a fish, you need to hover your mouse over the wedge and follow its movements. There is also a circle which appears and gets smaller that you need to click once it aligns to speed up your progress. Raw fish doesn't provide much hunger regen, so it's better to cook it once you buy the recipe from the Bog and Briar Tavern in Brightoak. Or you could sell your fish for now for some more money. After returning to your farm, you might be a bit peckish and bored of eating apples and bread that you found in barrels, so craft the cooking pot from your workbench to chef up some fancier food. For now, cooked meat provides the biggest food regen, and I found lots of deer to the north and in the meadows to the east. The easiest way to hunt them is by using your bow that you obtained earlier and not getting too close to frighten them off. You can also hunt rabbits, but personally I find they're a little too small and agile for me to hit. Now you're probably ready to start upgrading and beautifying your homestead, so enter build mode by pressing B on your keyboard. You can also check the keybinds for controllers in the settings. You can pick up or move the big trees on your farm to get them out of the way or just put them where you want. And when in build mode, press G to toggle the grid on or off to place things precisely. This also works when tilling soil with the hoe so you can keep your crops neat and tidy. If you've crafted and stored items in chests or barrels, you can use build mode to move them around without needing to empty them first. And speaking of storage, you can press F to quick store items from your inventory to nearby chests that contain matching items. I found it's a good idea to put chests close to the crafting stations that you frequently use, like the workbench or anvil, because items will be automatically pulled from nearby storage, so it saves you from running back and forth. If you need to take a single item from a stack, hold Shift and click to transfer one at a time. After you've upgraded the interior of your house, you can buy new wall and floor types as well as a second level. You can switch freely between owned walls and floors as often as you like. By now, you've probably earned a level up in trades or survival. Remember to press K to go to skills and apply the level ups to get the perks, because this isn't done automatically. Skill cards will be earned from levelling up, and you can change your active skill cards once per day. To increase the number of skill slots available, you have to visit a chap called Fernfoot, who will exchange 8 fabled feathers for either a skill slot or an inventory expansion. So make sure you explore lots and pick up these colourful feathers whenever you see them. Now before you go any further and embark on your own great adventures, there are a couple of things that you should be aware of. The most important one is remembering to interact with the signpost that's on your farm in order to unlock it as a fast travel location. While exploring the world on your adventures, you might run into other camps that also have beds and workbenches. Interacting with the signpost there will unlock the fast travel option where you can travel back and forth freely to your farm. There are 10 total fast travel points including the farm, so you definitely want to make use of it. You're also going to run into a range of enemies from bandits to werewolves, but if you're finding the combat tough, you can enable easier combat in settings to increase your health and take less damage. There's also an easier survival option too, which slows down your hunger drain. Personally, I have both of these turned on because I started dreading every battle I faced, but now it's a much cozier experience, so don't be ashamed to have them on. On the topic of combat, you might notice some red barrels in various locations. These are gunpowder barrels and can be triggered to explode by shooting them with your bow. I found it very beneficial to lure enemies close to the barrels and then run off and shoot it, because the explosion deals quite a lot of damage which can make a big difference in tough battles. If you're really struggling to take an enemy down, you can also lure it towards a town like Brightoak or Ashmere, and the NPCs will come and assist you in fighting. Now you've got some experience behind you, it's time to upgrade your gear. In order to upgrade your copper tools, you'll need to save up 750 coins to purchase an iron toolkit from the blacksmith. Then you'll need to use the toolkit as a component along with some iron and a copper tool inside the anvil. Any diagrams or recipes that you obtain from shops or rewards can be learnt by using them from your inventory or the radial menu. I tend to upgrade my pickaxe first because then you can destroy the bigger rocks that are around and get more stone, which I find harder to get than wood. But if you find yourself with a stone shortage, there is a mine in the north that has a lot of stone and iron ore inside. However, it's likely you'll run into a wolf or two on your way up, so be prepared to either fight or run. Once you do craft the iron pickaxe, run to the left side of your farm and destroy the boulder to get access to the hardwood grove. You can chop down these stumps once you've upgraded to the iron axe. Sometimes random world events happen, like the travelling merchant appearing, and you can find their location on your map highlighted in blue to go and purchase some goodies. Eventually, you'll be able to purchase livestock and build shelters to keep them happy. Animals have a profile similar to the NPCs that you can open from the bottom left. You can assign an animal to a shelter you've built, check on its stats, or even rename it. And the final tip I have for you today is for anyone who has managed to save up their hard-earned coin and bought themselves a horse. If you're out and about and you manage to lose your horse, rather than losing your mind frantically searching for it, you can just hold X on your keyboard and it will return to you safe and sound. So now you're equipped with this beginner knowledge, it's time to venture out on your own and discover what more lies ahead in the world of Mirthwood. Thank you for watching, see you soon.